Now, where can you get 37% per year? Not very many places, but if you are a business owner, you can. For people who are trying to invest in the stock market or trying to invest in Bitcoin for that matter, or anything else, you might not get those type of returns. But if you are yourself growing on a continual basis and learning and becoming better and better every single day, it is very probable for you to actually grow by 37% per year. As an example, you are an entrepreneur. And if you did that for 40 years, that would be $2.9 billion. And much better than doing the 40 hours per week for 40 years in a job, in my opinion. All right, so, but how? Consistency. That's the answer, right? What did you notice? It's 37% every single year, like with no exception. So there was no years when you had minus 50% or minus 10% or even grow by 10%. No, 37 every single year. So it's consistency that is the key. But consistency is the hardest thing to do on the planet. Well, guess what? Men do hard things. I hope you enjoyed this presentation because I actually had fun putting this all together. All right, so let's go. But only if we know that it will be worth it, right? Why do we do hard things? Well, like, we're not going to want to do hard things if we don't know if it's actually going to pan out the way we want to at the end of it. And for that, we need our why. So before we can start with the how, we need to start with the why. Like, why are you even on this call today? Why are you trying to figure out personal development? Why are you trying to get consistency in your life? Why are you doing what you do? Why do you wake up in the morning to do what you do? This is where we need to start, and it's where it always starts. And the question is, do you have a process, a daily process for not only figuring out what your why is, because that can take a long time if you don't know the process of how to figure that out. But not only that, how do you remind yourself and remember every single day what your why is? Because if you do that, then the how becomes the next step. How do you actually achieve consistent growth in your health, in your money, in terms of everything that you want to create in your life? So if the why is strong enough, then the how is actually irrelevant until it becomes relevant, right? It is relevant because you do have to go through some sort of process. But if you have a strong enough motivation, then that will drive you to figure out the how, and that will cause you to get the results eventually. The how is irrelevant before you know the why. So everyone asks about, man, how do you do this? Or how do I do that? Or how do I become consistent? For example, how? Well, do you know your why? And that's going to be the homework after we go today is creating your list. In my opinion, I always tell guys to do 100 dreams and goals. So you take 100 dreams and you write down the list. 100, okay? Not 20, not 30, not 40, 100 dreams and goals of things that you'd like to do, that you'd like to become, or that you want to achieve in your lifetime. And just write that list down. So we'll discuss that more during the process. All right, so do you know your why? It all starts with it. And is your why strong enough? We can always figure out a way, because it all comes down to your willingness to work and your willingness to learn. That's what it comes down to. And if you have a strong enough why, you'll actually make it happen. So what to do when you don't know your own why? You got to rub shoulders with those who do, bro. Monkey see, monkey do, right? So if you know people in your life that are going somewhere, like you can feel it, you can see it, like they're doing things that other people are not willing to do, rub shoulders with those people, spend time with them, talk to them, figure out, what are they doing? What are their goals? How did they get there? And what are they doing differently than what you're doing? Because they are doing something differently. They have different thought processes, right? What's the difference? They think differently, they feel differently, and they behave differently, right? And as a result, you're not where they are right now, right? And that's how it's So that's how it starts, is how do you begin to think like them, feel like them, and eventually behave like them? Because the secret is found in your daily schedule, right? So yet, eventually you can. You just have to listen to them. You just have to understand how they think, and that's going to cause you to feel a certain way. You're going to get past those emotions that are holding you back, and then you're going to begin to behave like them. And sooner or later, you will eventually end up like them, or even in a better situation than them, because they didn't have someone like them at the time. Or the person that they had was worse off than they are for us right now. That's what I think about sometimes. It's like everything is continuously evolving, which means that the people that we have as role models, the role models that they had, was actually worse than the role models that we've got. So it's amazing, because we are standing on the shoulders of the next of the preceding generation, right? So, and those guys were giants, but we will eventually become giants for those that come after us, which is pretty cool. And hopefully they'll want to think and feel and behave like us eventually. All right, so it's not a competition between other people and you. It's you versus you, and we want to help you to become you 2.0, right? And you are what you repeatedly do. So do you have habits of excellence, or do you have habits of doom? Do you have habits that will take you towards exponential growth, or do you have habits that will take you to exponential decline? And you have to answer that question. And being on this workshop reminds you of the goals that you have. So if you could only get the right habits in place, success would be automatic. If you can only get the right habits in place, success will be automatic. But how do you do that? Habits are easy to do, right? So it's the initial change to get better habits that's tricky. Like, habits are easy to do. Like, by definition, it's something that you repeatedly do and have repeatedly done for a long period of time. And that's why they became habits. And that's why you're doing it without even thinking about it. That's what a habit is. It's easy. Okay. So, but how do you adopt the correct habits? It's that initial change that's difficult, and then you have to stick with it. And again, it's environment, and then doing the right things when it comes to habits. And you need to learn those things. If you haven't figured out how habits work in your life yet, you need to work with someone that has figured it out, or is 10 times further along the journey than you are. And that's where I come in. Welcome to Success Automation. So this is what we're doing. We're taking you from where you are right now to you 2.0. Whoever that is, let's figure out who that is. You might already know who that is. If you don't, let's get crystal clarity and let's start working on your habits. It's you, clarity of direction, accountability, and business experience, plus the vehicle. Now, the vehicle is your niche, right? The clarity of direction, accountability, and the business experience is what you get from rubbing shoulders with me as your coach. And the vehicle is your niche. Maybe you figured out your niche already. If you haven't, I'm an expert at helping you figure out your niche based on your personality and who you are, what you like, dislikes, etc., etc. This is going to create exponential results in your life. Okay? How do I know this? From experience. All right. I want to tell you guys about my first ever coaching client. Some of you guys already know who he is. You guys can ask me questions about it afterwards as well. But Luaista joined me in June 2019. He paid, over the past 4 years, he's paid a total of about $20,000, okay, to be coached one-on-one by me. And that's an average cost of $400. Now he's got an income of about 20,000 USD every single month, and almost 1.2 million subscribers on YouTube. When we started coaching, he literally had the same amount of subscribers that I had in June 2019, which was about 200 subscribers. All right. So we went from 200 subscribers each. Now I still have 4,500 something, but I've been focusing on coaching. Well, he's been focusing strictly on YouTube and providing entertainment services, right? and he's now at almost 1.2 million subscribers. He never took a break, and he never quit, and he's continuously talked to me every single week for the last 4 years. Question is, was it worth it? Right? He's 26 years old now. He was 22 when he started. Do you think that he's going to make less or more money in the future? How many years do you think he'll keep making money as a business owner? Right? He's 26. It's probably going to be another 50 or 60 or 70 years, right? Do you think he'll ever quit Men of High Value?